Okay, so now we're talking about how to own the stage on your own digital stages. And the first one I want to talk about tonight is an amazing source. The first one I want to talk about tonight is a relatively new piece of technology, actually. Before we go into that, though, I want to reiterate this point. Your greatest source of revenue will come from your audience. Your audience will then generate leads, and then your leads generate customers, and your customers is what generates revenue. So in order to get more revenue, you need more customers. In order to get more customers, you need more leads. In order to get more leads, you need more audiences. In order to get more audiences, you need bigger stages or more plentiful stages to begin with. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and talk about my newest and most favoriteest stage that I have recently discovered, in addition to podcasts. I think podcasts will stay at the top in the top three. Let me tell you my favorite stages so far. My favorite stages are live physical stages. I love being on other people's live stages because that's when I can drive the most impact. My second favorite is actually podcasts because it's other people's stages, which allows me to get in front of other people's audiences, and they're free and they can be done from home. And then my third favorite is actually this one right here that will show in the next slide. It is Skool. It's a brand new platform for people to join on. And before we jump into that, I want to share with you, just as a reminder, where you're going to be finding these stages. Again, there's 4 different kinds of stages. Your stage has a physical presence. These happen in terms of retreats, live events, parties, things that you host. Dinner parties is actually one of these that's brand new. I have not done that yet, so I'm not going to be teaching you about it, but it does exist. Other physical stages are where people are bringing you onto their stage. And this happens, again, physically in seminars. You can be invited to speak at a breakout in front of other people's audiences. Breakouts are fabulous because you are hand selected by the audience. They're already your ideal client and they're self-selecting in. VIP events, we're talking like galas, and we're talking like awards, very much feeds into ceremonies, that kind of thing, graduation, special events. Those are what we're talking about there. Now let's go into digital stages. These are even easier to do it because you can do it from your own living room. You can do it from your own home. It's so easy and simple. Digital stages, webinars, social media, that means live or pre-recorded. Those are all stages, by the way. Pre-recorded webinars, evergreen webinars, social media posts, live videos, everything. But each one of those lines has probably 5 to 10 different versions of that same thing, like webinars through Zoom, webinars through Webinar Jam, all sorts of things. Other people's digitals are masterminds. If you are asked to be a guest on someone else's mastermind, I've been guests on other live masterminds. Keaton asked me to be a guest on his Limitless Arena mastermind a few weeks ago. That was incredible. You can be a guest on, there's my ding, 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 podcasts. The reason I love podcasts is because they are usually recorded and evergreen. Podcasts go up on YouTube. YouTube allows you to put links in the description, which means I can gather and scrape leads every time I appear on a podcast, and even when that podcast is running later. And then, of course, trainings, trainings that they have akin to a webinar, or maybe they do a one-time training, whatever the case may be, any other digital stage that you have here. Okay, now these are the digital stages. Right now, we're going to talk tonight about your digital stage. So we're right in this box right down here: webinars, social media, live videos. The reason I want to go into this box first is because it has the smallest barrier of entry. If you're on this call or you're watching this video, you have access to your own digital stage. They're cheap or free. They're plentiful, and they can be done immediately if you have the guts. If you have the cojones, you can turn on a live video, and you're already ahead of 90% of the human beings on the planet, because most of them are too afraid to turn on the camera, believe it or not. Okay, now let's talk about your digital stage on what platforms you can be on. And I recommend being on as many platforms as humanly possible. And the reason for that is you want to be able to say yes whenever anyone asks, are you on fill in the blank? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Threads? Are you on YouTube? Are you on TikTok? You're going to capture different audiences on different one, because as an influencer, you get to influence. Gary Vee says there's trillions and trillions of bits of information published in any given moment of any given day all over the world. And if your post gets 300 likes, that's great. But in comparison, you've got to be doing more. So the more you can appear, the more unignorable you can be, the better off you are, because the currency of attention is where it's at. So I was just on a stage last week. One of the students asked me, hey, are you on LinkedIn? I was able to say, yes, I'm on LinkedIn. If you have the right CRM, a really good CRM that we use is Go High Level. It's $97 a month, and it will post for you on all of these platforms. You can preset, pre-record, and do all of these things with your posts. Now, Instagram. I love Instagram. Now, I want to talk about the ages of these for just a minute, because Instagram is about almost 20 years old. It's about 17 years old. It was recently acquired by Meta. So Instagram and Facebook are twinsies. Facebook is older than Instagram by probably 5 to 10 years. And it has, and when you think about it, when Facebook first started, it started by kids who were in college. Those same kids are still using Facebook, and it's been 20 years. So now those kids are in their 40s and 50s. Think about where your demographic is and who you're talking to on your demographic. Layla Hormozi just recently made a YouTube video talking about how Facebook is actually coming back. If you followed trends for social media for any duration of time, you notice that about 3 years ago, Facebook took its first nosedive in terms of new signups. For the first time ever, the number of new signups for Facebook took a decline. Now, the utility of Facebook has been going and fluctuating in a not totally upward trend for quite a while. And here's what that means. Facebook actually has a higher utility rate because some have left the platform. Now, there's millions and millions of users on Facebook, millions of users. But because some people have left the program, inactive users have left the program. What does that mean for everyone that's left? That means that everyone that's left on Facebook, or not everyone, that's not a fair statement, but most of the people that are still utilizing Facebook are actually utilizing Facebook. They're checking posts, they're reading DMs, they're not poking people. Nobody does that anymore, but they're looking at things on Facebook. They're engaging with the content. Instagram will probably reach that peak. My prediction will be within the next 3 years. LinkedIn, this is a different platform. You're connecting a business audience here. This is mostly for entrepreneurs and people in business, people looking for jobs, not your food Instagram influencers and people modeling clothes. This is particularly for people in business. And I have to admit, I ignored LinkedIn for far too long. X, formerly known as Twitter, this is a platform where I would say my experience of Twitter is controversy. A lot of controversy catches fire on Twitter. Donald Trump is on Twitter. You'll see Elon on Twitter. There's a lot, especially the trend right now is to be as controversial as possible, because Elon said, hey, let's do free speech and let everybody talk about everything. This new acquisition, it's actually revolutionizing right now. So the more controversial you can be on X, the more attention you're going to get. Threads is like the redheaded stepchild to X. It was basically Meta's version of, hey, we need to have a Twitter-esque version. Even though Twitter already exists, we need to have an equivalent. Now, they're cross-promoting Threads right now, which is good news if you're in social media, because you will now see Threads within your Instagram feed. As you're scrolling Instagram, you've probably seen this already. And you cannot like a Threads post from within Instagram. If you like something that you see on Threads and you touch it, it will open up the Threads app for you. So Instagram is leveraging its own platform to pull people to another version of its own platform. I will tell you something about Meta, which owns Threads, it owns Facebook, and it owns Instagram. They want you to stay on their platforms. Here's what that means. If you're posting anything with links, it will distract you, or it will be buried rather in the platform, because Meta doesn't want you to leave. Meta makes money when you stay. It makes money on pay-per-click. It makes money on ad spend. And any links that you post as an influencer that take people away from Meta, out of the Meta universe, it's going to bury that. It doesn't mean it's going to blacklist it. It's just going to not show it to people. It will get less and less and less views. Even if it doesn't include a link, if you use the words .com or talk about redirecting to another web page, it will get buried, guaranteed. Okay, next one I want to talk about is YouTube and Shorts. YouTube's been around for quite some time. They are more link friendly within the description, especially of your videos. And the one I didn't post on here is Pinterest. This is, I'll get to that in just a minute, so I'll remind myself to do that. But YouTube and Shorts, YouTube is great for long form content. YouTube creators can start generating revenue for long form content after you get to the 10,000 subscriber mark. That's your milestone you want to be at. So you always want to be doing a call to action to like and subscribe. The cool part about YouTube is that even before you get to the 10,000 milestone, you can be posting links and calls to action and tripwires within the description of your videos. And if your video is compelling enough to drive to the description, you can start to generate traffic to your website even before you get to that 10,000. If you can drive traffic to your website and you have a funnel, and not necessarily through ClickFunnels, but you have a way for them to purchase or a tripwire, you can start to generate revenue because of traffic on YouTube. This is also the same with Shorts. Again, YouTube wanted to get into the game of the vertical orientation thing that Instagram is doing and that TikTok is doing. So they have a Shorts version. YouTube Shorts have to be less than 60 seconds long. If it is more than 60 seconds, it becomes a YouTube video. And those function a little bit differently. Shorts don't leave room for a description. You can title your video, but there's not room for description. You can link that short video to another video, a long form, which is fantastic because if you give it 60 seconds short, you can drive to a long form video, but their shorts are more limited in terms of how you're able to interact with your audience. TikTok, oh my gosh, this platform is gunning for it. There are millions and millions of users on TikTok. This started to gain popularity about 5-6 years ago. And again, when you think of the timeline and the age of these platforms, I'll give you an example. My most viewed video on TikTok was the very, very first video that I ever produced on TikTok, and instantly it had 6,000 views. And it was just, honestly, as far as my audience goes, it was meaningless to them. It was like a video of my kids running on a track. It was about it wasn't even about anything. It was just almost like a vlog, and had 6,000 views. My videos now are getting like 300-400 views, right? And if I had kept posting on TikTok from the inception of the platform on my phone, I would have so much more viewership because people would have been loyal to me. I would have kept producing content. I would have been an OG. As people adopted the platform, it would have loved the algorithm. And it's like imagine if you had back in the day invested in Netflix. Your astronomical growth would have followed the growth of the platform. The same thing with TikTok or any social media for that matter. Pinterest is very similar. And I put Pinterest near the bottom, and I didn't put it on here, but I want to tell you about it because Pinterest is very link friendly as well. Pinterest earns money from affiliations. You can post links, they earn money from ads. People can buy ad space on Pinterest. They love that. You can put links, you can put descriptions. It's kind of like YouTube Longs meets YouTube Shorts. The thing with Pinterest is that it's all about aesthetic. It is an image pinboard based platform. So if your photos are aesthetically pleasing, they usually perform better on Pinterest, because Pinterest, even though it doesn't always lead to, or you don't have to make it lead to a website, you should. People generally don't always visit that. They're gathering ideas and they're putting them on an equivalent of a vision board in some respects. So that's what Pinterest is doing. Email, guys, it's small here because it's not the topic of a conversation tonight. It does deserve its entire own video series. But again, I got to teach you a lesson I learned the hard way. I made a huge, huge mistake with email. I didn't think it was valuable because honestly, I don't read all of my emails. I have a lot of junk that needs to be cleared out. And so important emails sometimes get lost in my email, and I neglected it for far too long. But here's the linchpin with email. You own the data. Unlike anything else on this list, you own that list. You own those email addresses. That means if Meta has a bad day and it shuts down, guess what? You cannot reach your audience. If TikTok crashes or you get blocked or blacklisted on YouTube or Threads, or a video gets pulled, guess what? You don't own any of those platforms. With an email list, you own the list, which means you control the content, you control the frequency, you control everything. And as long as you're feeding and nurturing your audience, they'll keep subscribing to you and reading your emails. Announcements through email are critical. I cannot emphasize that enough. Own your list through email. Okay, tonight, oh, I have had a bug in my brain nagging me to produce this series and this video on this platform for about a month now, and we're finally doing it together. I'm so glad with some of you, we are doing this live. Some of you might be watching this later, so follow along and follow closely. Tonight, we are talking about Skool. Now, here's one of the reasons that I am excited about Skool. It is a new platform, new-ish. It was founded in 2019. The platform is only barely 5 years old. In fact, they're still doing beta releases of features within the platform. The founder of the platform, Sam Ovens, literally messaged me personally last week, when I was posting in groups, giving me tips and advice live. Okay. If you're an influencer, you should be on this platform. Here's why. First of all, early adoption. Early adopters have the first mover advantage with views, with participation, and with growth. Because you've been on the platform longer, you're going to have more experience with it. You're going to have more legitimacy in the eyes of your audience, and you will have one of the largest groups. So take, for example, a group on Skool. Skool is made out of different groups with different interests. I have to show you guys, there's one Skool group that actually just blows my mind. This Skool group is teaching people how to jump. And it's got tens of thousands of subscribers in this group. And all it does is teach people how to jump. And that will be forever the biggest group on teaching people how to jump on Skool. If you have a niche right now, maybe you do horror films, maybe you do game building, maybe you're a master electrician, you guys, I'm talking to you. You have such a high likelihood of becoming the first community on the platform for your niche, because there's not as many users quite yet. Now, Skool has millions of users, but a lot of them are consumers, not producers. As influencers who want to grow on stages and want to grow your sales skill set, you are producers, which means you're producing content for people to purchase from you. Imagine having a focus group for your games that you're building. Imagine then teaching others to build games. Imagine owning that. And if you were the first person on the block to own that store, you own a corner of the internet that is yours. Now, the other really cool part about Skool is that you have more ownership within this community than you would on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other platform. It's kind of like Reddit meets email. Most of Skool is a conversational platform. You're talking, you're responding, you can post videos. Guys, oh my gosh, you can post your YouTube links, you can post links to your other things, and Skool doesn't bury it. It's not embarrassed to have people leave the platform. It's very abundant in that mentality. You can post those. Okay, now here's the thing. Skool is not yours. You can own a community within Skool, but remember, email, phone numbers, your list that you own will always be yours. That's why I say on this page, this acts as your own community, which means if you create a group in Skool, please, before you let people into your group, require for them to give you their email address. So if, God forbid, something happens with Skool one day where it shuts down or the server's broken, you still have access to everything. Skool will also host platforms where you can teach content. Again, don't use Skool as your only platform. Don't use anything as your only platform unless you own it, which is why I own my list. Even if Gmail breaks down, I can go to another email server because I own my list, right? So Skool shouldn't be your only, but it is up and coming, and you have first mover advantage here. Skool acts as the way, then I have this here, the only way to own your community is by owning your own data, but Skool acts as a community building where people, and guys, they figured it out. The gamification of social media happens here. And why is that so cool? Why is it so important, like, to score points? You guys, if you've played Mario, you go for every single one of those stupid little gold coins to get the next level up or the next life or whatever it might be. Skool has done that. And it does this thing where it hits the dopamine centers of the brain, not only through level ups and recording, but you can also offer incentives through to your audience based on their participation. I'm going to teach you tonight everything that I wish I had learned about Skool when it started and when I jumped to the platform, because I felt like the fish out of water when I got on this platform. And now I figured out some things and I want to teach you what they are, give you a head start. Okay, let's talk about Skool. Why should you consider Skool? Check this out. Unlike Facebook, Skool doesn't, what I do, what I call downvoting. Now there's another social media platform I want to tell you about. It's called Quora. I use Quora as a big resource for Q&A, for questions and answers. I'm honestly not on there a lot. I kind of am voyeuristic on Quora. I go in and I look at what people are asking most, and then I use that for videos. So if you're looking for content ideas, Quora is great because actual people are asking questions. But unlike Facebook, Skool doesn't downvote posts that are that include links. We talked about that a moment ago. If you post anything with a link on Facebook, it will get buried and it will not be given any attention. When you own your own Skool community and you want to put a link into your YouTube video, or you want to put a link into your podcast, or you want to put a link in for people to buy something from you, Skool supports this. And they won't push it down and out of sight. In fact, you can pin those things. You can send an email to those things, which hits my next point. Every time you post in your community, you can have the option to send your post as an email to your audience of ideal buyers. Now, Skool is very careful about this because they don't want to get reported for spam. So they only allow you to send emails once every 72 hours from within any given community. And I think this is very smart because if you're sending them more than that, your audience is going to get sick of you and you're going to become white noise, which is what you don't want. Okay, the next one is you don't compete for attention within your own community. If you own a community, that's yours. They're paying attention to you. They're in your classroom and there's no competition and there's only collaboration with the right people that you allow into your community. The next one is really important, although it is almost cliche to say to nurture your audience, but your audience needs to be nurtured because until they become a customer, they need to be fed. And even after they become a customer, of course, but before they go through your paywall, which is the definition of customer, now they've paid you, before they come through your paywall, you need to be adding value onto your audience like crazy. And when you control your own community and you're not competing for attention, you can continually dump value on your audience. Now I'm going to give you a heads up on how to add value to your audience without over asking. You should not have a call to action post more than one every 10 posts, which means 9 out of every 10 posts needs to be nurturing your audience. I'm delivering something of value. I'm making my audience laugh. I'm delivering a piece of content that's useful to them. I'm making them feel good in some way, shape, or form. This is what it means to nurture your audience, to deliver value. Only make an ask 1 out of every 10. It used to be 1 out of every 4. Now it's 1 out of every 10 because of the number of people online. And guys, here's the most important one for you. The most important part of Skool that no other platform has done, to my experience, nearly as well, is the potential for monthly recurring revenue. In other words, MRR. If you ever hear me use that phrase, MRR, I'm referring to monthly recurring revenue. Now, think about this. You have monthly revenue goals. You have annual revenue goals. You have monthly bills. Your mortgage, your rent, that's due every month. Your electric bill, your power bill, your gas bill. There are expenses that you need to cover every month. And if you're paying monthly expenses, then you should also be making reliable monthly recurring revenue. And here's the biggest difference between financial independence and financial freedom. And if you've ever played the game Rat Race, highly recommend this game, by the way. We should have game night and do this. Then there's a big difference. You understand that financial independence means that my monthly recurring revenue is equal to or slightly above my monthly recurring expenses. My MRR goes above my MRE. When my monthly recurring revenue exceeds or meets my monthly recurring expenses, then that's financial independence, which means I don't have to depend on a certain sale. I don't have to depend on a W-2. I don't have to depend on a boss. I'm financially independent. Beyond that is financial freedom. Now, a good milestone for this is when your MRR, your monthly recurring revenue, exceeds your MRE by 4x. Let's just say for a moment that you need $5,000 a month to cover your expenses. If your monthly recurring revenue is at $5,000, you have financial independence, which means you start the month not in the negative, but at the baseline. You have every expense covered. Your expenses are covered to the point where you're filled up. You're starting at zero instead of negative. Now you're independent. Now, if you're making $20,000 a month and your monthly recurring expenses are only $5,000, you're 4x, which means you have freedom. You can start doing what I call ordering from the left side of the menu. When I go to a restaurant, I can look at the right side where the prices are and order based on my bank account, or I can go on the left side and order based on what I want, based on the ingredients in the food. And that's the goal, to get your monthly recurring revenue to 4x your monthly recurring expenses. Now, honestly, as your monthly recurring revenue goes up, your expenses might follow. Meaning if I have a monthly recurring revenue and I'm also spending some money on ad spend, I'm going to scale my ad spend. But you do not want to outpace your revenue. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they start making 5-6 figures is that they bring their expenses up to meet their revenue. This is a critical error. You should not be buying McLarens when you're creating this monthly recurring revenue right away. Your monthly recurring revenue, especially as an entrepreneur, needs to go back into your business until you're at least a 4x. Back into your business. Elena Cardone puts it this way, and I love the way she puts it. I want to share it with you. Your earned income that you spend time to do, whether it's in your own business or somebody else, if you're exchanging if you're exchanging hours for dollars, the dollars that come in based on those hours do not get spent on things that don't make you money. For example, if I make $5,000 a month at my job, and I exchange time for that, whether I'm an entrepreneur or an employee, if I'm exchanging my time for dollars, those dollars are reserved for things that make me money. I'm not buying Chanel bags. I'm not buying Air Jordans because those things don't make me money. I'm using those dollars that I traded time for and going to reinvest them to get my time back. Now, as soon as I make dollars that I'm sleeping to make, if I'm sleeping, that monthly recurring revenue is coming in without me having to spend time doing that. That's when I can start to buy things that don't always make me money. But until you are 4xing, every dollar should be put back into getting your time back. Yes, Alton, I agree. Better to live well below your means now and pay your future self 8x or better on the same dollar, 1,000,000%. Okay, let's get into Skool, guys. I am too excited about this to rob you of it any longer. So this is why you should consider Skool. Now, I created this document. I emailed all of you a copy of my book. I just wrote it and finished it yesterday. Could not wait to get it into your hands. This book is my ebook on this entire code. This Skool section is a portion of that code. Now, your online presence, this is where people start to find you, and this is a freemium model. This is where people consume your content for free. And you're teaching them how to do what you do. Teaching them how to play guitar, teaching them how to play the game, teaching them all of the things that you know how to do. Your ebook is also a version of this. Do it yourself. I'm teaching you how. Your ebook can be given away for free, or you can charge $10 for your ebook. Some early level tripwire. Then you can offer digital trainings. Again, this is DIY. I'm going to record the training once. I'm going to teach you how to do it, and I'm going to sell the training. Now we get into group mentoring or done with you. This is what this call is. This is group mentoring or done with you. Now, typically this is valued in the hundreds of dollars. You can see that there's $3 signs ahead of the decimal point. The one that you're in right now is a beta version. So this group mentoring is at a lower price point than your typical group mentoring. It's in beta right now. Live boot camps, again, done with you. Now we're into the 4-figure mark. When we get into the 5-figure mark and above, now we're done for you or one-on-one coaching. Skool is both your online presence as a free model, and it can go all the way up at varying levels into this live boot camp. And you can even use it for one-on-one coaching, but it's going to fill up a lot of the bottom part of your value ladder. It'll do the free version. You can deliver materials through Skool. We're going to talk about that. You can offer digital trainings through Skool. You can do group mentoring through Skool. You can even do live boot camps, digital versions. Obviously, in-person boot camps are not done online, but this is why you should consider Skool, because owning your own corner of this platform will allow you to do all of these steps under one umbrella. Okay, now building your own community within Skool has a cost to it because you're owning your own portion of the internet. Skool itself charges $97 a month to build your own community. Now you can join communities for free. And when you join communities, you don't have the opportunity for monthly recurring revenue, but you can learn about it and be part of online communities. You can also pay for some online communities, and some online communities are $10 a month, some are $20 a month. But if you're in the industry of coaching or entrepreneurship at all, you should own your own corner of Skool. This link right here will open you up to a 14-day free trial of Skool. You can try it out. You can see what it's like. You can start building your community, and then it'll charge you $97 a month to continue using the platform. It also allows you to open up the affiliate version of Skool so that you can also start earning monthly recurring revenue from Skool. As I go through Skool, I'm going to teach you everything I learn about it. As I start creating monthly recurring revenue through Skool, I want you to copy me and do everything that's successful. I'm going first and learning to get and going through the bumps and bruises of learning through Skool so I can give you guys the fast track like I wish I had when I started Skool. Okay, I'm gonna go from this to this page over here. Now, when you start your own online community, and by the way, this isn't just useful for Skool. This is for any presence that you have online. Your service statement will be the description of the group that you build. Now, if you go to Skool, I highly encourage you to join the Skool community itself. The Skool community is a community all about the app, and I'll walk you through that when I give you a tour of Skool. But your service statement, actually, if you're in my Mastery Hive community in Skool, we have a whole section on this service statement. I help blank who suffer from blank, and I will reiterate this point a few times. As coaches, we have graduated our language. We don't like to talk in negatives because we know the power of our words. However, mastery in public speaking, whether you're on a physical or a digital stage, your own or somebody else's, mastery in public speaking requires you, absolutely requires you, to be able to go down to the bottom of the swimming pool where people are suffering. When people are at the bottom of the swimming pool, they don't care about the beautiful trees on the beaches at the top, and they don't care about the diving board that's available, and they don't care about the water slide, and they don't care about all your flowery, beautiful language that you've come to love. They care about their lungs on fire because they can't breathe. And in order to influence those people you have to speak their language. And in order to speak their language, you have to be willing to dive to the bottom of the pool in order to lift them up. The biggest mistake that I see coaches in the industry make is they forget what it's like at the bottom of the pool and they don't know how to talk to their audience or find them. I'm going to show you really wonderful examples of this statement that has been really well executed and some mistakes, because often we learn more from our failures than we do from our successes when we do our tour. After you have your description of your group, you're going to need to create your cover image. This is not done through the app, by the way. You can't upload your cover image through the app. You have to do it through a computer, at least at this point in time. So your cover image will go onto your Skool community, and then you can make your community live and start inviting people. Now, what's really cool about your Skool community is you can invite through uploading a CSV, or in other words, a spreadsheet of all of your existing list. You can upload your list through Skool and deliver invites to your community that way, which means Skool does some of the heavy lifting for you, which is what you're paying for. Okay, this is again, inviting your audience. You can use your CSV. You can go to Facebook. You can go to your existing platforms that you're on and invite people there. And you can use email, you can use whatever you like. Remember, other platforms, especially meta platforms, don't like links. So if you're going online, then there's a formula for creating a deliverable online. Let me give you the formula. This isn't in the slides, you're gonna have to pay attention. If you want to give something away to a community, whatever your followership is, you need to first describe the results of what you've done or what this community has done, or what you're about to offer has solved for you, which means you have to sell with integrity. Describe the results. After you describe the results, you say, I condensed it and made it easy for you, either through an ebook or through a community or through whatever the thing is. Number 3, call to action. I'm going to drop the proof in the pudding. I'm going to say what it is. And then I'm going to say, you're able to get in for free, or you're able to have my ebook for free, or whatever it might be. This is the primary way I have used to grow my community, not only through Skool, but my entire email database. I use this formula, and I've used it for the last 3 weeks to generate 700 leads in 3 weeks using this formula. Now I have something to give away, either a Skool community or an ebook to give them, but you have to have those ingredients, and that's how you post about it. Again, what it's done for you, give some proof. The thing, which is either the ebook or the community or whatever it is you want people to enroll in, and then the call to action. Okay, let's go through a tour of Skool, shall we? I'm going to share a different tab on my computer here because this is, oh, guys, this is where it's at. Now, again, I'm showing you this because I wish I had this training as far as a Skool community goes. So let me share my screen with you and walk you through Skool itself. Okay, now they just turned on dark mode today. I don't know if you're like me and you love dark mode. I do dark mode on everything. It is the best. I'm showing you the desktop version. There is also an app version of Skool that you can go download. But you can see here, I'm within the Skool community itself. Your communities will show up on this left side right over here, the communities that you are a part of. Right now, I'm within the Skool community. I have the Skool games community that I'm a part of, and then I have my own community. So we're going to go to my own, and I'm going to show you everything that I've learned in just a few minutes here. And there's going to be more to learn. There's going to be more videos about this because of how lucrative this can be for you. But I want to introduce you to this concept. So first, we have your community thumbnail. Again, you're going to have to create this. And you can use AI to create it if you want. You can use Canva to create it if you want, but you're going to need a square thumbnail with a recognized brand. I put my logo in there, and then you're going to name your community. You have a limited number of characters to do this. In my community, this is basically a chat board. It's very much like Reddit, like we mentioned earlier. You can see that, oh, look at this. Okay, I've got Brian in this community. He's level 3 in my community. And he's made a new post. It says, hello, community. I'm so pumped and grateful that I get to minister tonight at church, including sharing my story and testimony. Prayers and positive vibes appreciated. Thanks all and rock on. So Brian is someone I met at another event. I invited him to be the part of this community because his goal is to speak on more stages. And I said, oh, you're a perfect member of this audience. Let's grow together, leveraging Skool. And so you can see this has already 4 likes and 3 comments. I've got a new welcome message for brand new members of the community. I've got a post about tonight's Mastery Hive call, which is where we're at right now. Paris had a question about branding. So this community is very active, very, very active. And that's one of the reasons that I love Skool, is that it incentivizes people to be active. And I'll show you the point system and how that works in just a second. The classroom is where you can put your own courses. What's awesome about that is that you can make your courses earnable through participation. You can unlock courses at different levels. So every one of you, if you haven't started your own community in Skool, that's okay. You can join this community for free. There's no monthly charge to be part of the free community, only if you build one. Now, if you're in here, you're invited to this community. I think everyone in here is on here. And in my module, I'm continually adding modules. So I've got my influencer school. I have section 1 and section 2. Talking about stages. I've got my podcast resource guide. And the way this is accessed is you have to reach a level 2 within the Mastery Hive community. And this unlocks for you for free. So crazy valuable. The calendar is a native system within Skool that you can add events to. So you can see Friday at noon, I have a Zoom call where I'm announcing the winner of a contest that's within this community. That contest is pinned right here. It's an influencer contest based on participation. I'm giving away a ring light, is where my phone is sitting right now for you. Okay, members. I can see members in my community. Look, there's Tasha. I've got Lindsay right here. I've got Carolyn. This is information that only I can see. And again, you can see Tasha, she's got her value statement right here in her bio. So freaking cool. And I encourage you, use that to describe your community and use that to describe yourself on everything that you do. Your bio on social media, your bio in Skool, your bio in whatever application for a podcast you're sending out. This is your gold statement. Stick it to the top of your forehead and look at yourself in the mirror every single day. This is it. Okay. This is so fantastic. Now I've got Lindsay doing the thing. Okay. She's got her value statement there. Anyone that's taken my class on value statements usually has that in their bio. Now, check out this part. When you own a community, you have leaderboards. These leaderboards, you can rename the levels. So I've renamed my levels thanks to ChatGPT. I got all these names from ChatGPT about where you are leveling up to. You can see in my own community, I'm a level 5. Level 5, I've named it creator. 3% of members are level 5. Apparently I represent 3%. And I need 278 points to level up. Level 6 is leader, level 7 is public figure, 8 is viral, 9 is influencer. You can call these whatever you want in your communities. But people are motivated by titles. So keep it relevant to your community. Other Skool communities have different names. And you can name these whatever you want. Now, this is a ticket most people don't know how to navigate to. I'm going to show it to you right here. Skool points. Now, these are universal. I did not design this point system. Skool did this. And these are separate within each community. You earn points when other members like your posts or comments. 1 like equals 1 point. This encourages users to produce quality content, interact with each other and members in their community. You don't earn points by giving likes. You earn points by receiving them, which means producing valuable content gets you more likes. And it promotes interaction. As you gain points, you level up. Your level is shown at the bottom corner right over here of your avatar. The number of points required to get to the next level is shown right here. So level 1, you start at level 1 in every community that you're ever in. Level 2, you just have to get liked 5 times. That's super easy. Level 3 is 20 points, 4 is 65, 5, and now they get this exponential J curve. In order to get 9 points, you have to have level 9, excuse me, you have to have 33,000 points. I haven't met any level 9 users yet, to be honest. I don't even think Sam is a level 9 yet. He invented the thing. Okay, so there's an exponential growth. Now, what's really cool about this is, again, you can have things unlocked. And within your community, you can see leaderboards. I post a screenshot of these leaderboards once a week. Who's leading out this month? Who's leading out this week? And who's leading out on all time? And when people see their name on leaderboards, they love the accolades, and it all just doing that promotes interaction in the community. And you will be shocked at what people do to get to the top, even when you haven't tied a reward to it. It's crazy. Okay, now here's your about tab for your community. I haven't even put an image in here yet, you guys. This is how new I am at this, but it's already producing results. Okay, influencer collaboration, not competition, get paid on podcasts, book paid speaking gigs, and monetize your message. Can't get enough. And then I've got a link to my YouTube channel right here. Okay, my group has only 31 members. It's a free community right now. It's a baby community. It's brand new. Now, this is my rules and guidelines. I can add to this, edit this, whatever I'd like. And then when you have people join your community, you can have a list of questions that they have to answer. I encourage you to have emails go out with your list, or emails requests rather, in your list of questions. You can gather that information in case Skool ever crashes. And you can reject people in your community. You can accept people in community, whatever you'd like to do there. Whenever you add something to the calendar in your community, it will stay posted at the top. So whenever you have a live training, if you ever want to do a webinar, whatever is relevant to your audience, that will always stay on top as long as it's within the calendar on your community. And then again, when you make a post, that post can go out in 72 hours. That post can go out as an email every 72 hours, whatever you want to send one now. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple of other things within here. Now, these are your alerts, pretty self-explanatory. Your notifications come in with everything that you're in. I highly recommend going into your settings and turning off email notifications as far as activity, meaning likes and comments, because I don't need to have all 28 of these show up as emails. They're already alerts within the app. They're already alerts on the web page. I don't need an email for, I like the dark mode in the Skool group. I will show you this other Skool community that I highly recommend that you're part of, especially if you're building. This is the Skool community. This is owned by Sam Ovens, the creator. I see he's not even a level 9 in his own platform. He's a wizard though, according to him, right? My membership, creator of 2 groups, okay? This is a fantastic community that I would recommend leveraging in order to learn how to monetize your group. Now, when you create your group, you can allow your group to be paid, or it can be free. Okay. When you create a group, you also want your referral link to go out to your members. If they create a group from within your group, that's how you earn monthly recurring revenue. One of the 2 ways, native to the app, you can earn money by other people creating groups from within your group, or you can charge members to be in your community itself. And that's where most of the people are making money on this. And if you saw my slide earlier, you can say, okay, my community can start out as free. My community right here is free. When you create your community, you can start it out as free. You have a couple of ways of monetizing that. When your community, I'm going to go to settings here and open this up for you. You can import a CSV file to invite everyone to your group. You can integrate Zap. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but you can create subscriptions. If you add a price to this group, there's many ways you can upsell your community. You can say free for the first 100 people. You can say free for the first 100 days. You can say free for everyone who is at a certain level, and unless you stay at that level for too long, and then you have to pay if you stay at a level 1 for more than a week, or whatever the case may be. You can put a paywall up and then build your community. Now, if your community costs $100 a month to run, and you've got 10 people who pay $10 a month to be a part of your community, you've paid for itself. And that's a pretty low bar to get into. There's lots of things you can do with this. You can track your payouts. There's a lot of categories. When you build your community, every single post needs to fall into a category if you've created those. You can put plugins in there, Zapier integrations, auto DM new members. I have that turned on, so it sends a welcome message to people. Unlock chat at level 2. I've turned that off because I want chat on. But gamification, this is where it starts to get fun. When you have different levels, you can edit those levels to say, what do you get when people achieve this level. So for everyone in my community, when they get to level 2, which is very attainable, it unlocks a course for them. And in this free version, that's really awesome for my audience. I'm going to go to the chat for this. Okay, I may have missed this, but what's the revenue split with Skool? Okay, when you start a community, I'll show you one over here. When you start a community, you are charged $97 a month to run it. When people start a community from you, or in other words, using your referral link, you get paid $39 for every month that their community is active. So if you have 3 people start a new community from yours, your Skool membership is now free, plus a little bit. So it's basically $40 a month for every member that starts a group within yours. But that's not the only way to monetize. You can also monetize by charging people to be in your group. $10 a month, $47 a month, $97 a month. You can start with low price points. You can start with high price points, depending on the value that you're producing in your community. This is what I love about Skool, is not only has it gamified interaction, which you don't see on Facebook. How many of you have been on Facebook groups where the admin is the only one posting in the group? No one's responding, no one's making comments. It's very ignorable. Whereas in Skool, people are incentivized to like, to respond, to participate, and huge value is being added. Now you can see my community is in the very, very beginning. And I've already got amazing participation. I would rather have 30 active members in my group than a group of 1,000 people that I'm being ignored in. It's incredible. So that is your crash course in getting started on Skool. Again, if you have any level of wanting to build your audience whatsoever, I highly recommend considering starting a Skool community, because you can nurture and protect this audience and just add incredible value to them. You can unlock courses. It is a really inexpensive platform. It's what I would put it as is just under the level of a CRM, because a CRM can do so many things. I can't build a landing page through Skool. I can't build a tripwire through Skool. I can't send a email every day through Skool. I have my CRM for that. However, if you're just getting started in your influencership and you want a very strong muscle, a piece of software behind you, one that is being promoted by other users, by the way. If any of you ever listen to Alex Hormozy, you'll see him wearing a Skool hat wherever he goes. Anytime Alex Hormozy wears a Skool hat and you have a Skool group, that lends legitimacy to your Skool group, because you have a platform that is being endorsed by other users. It's incredible. There's one more thing I want to show you guys before we go, and this is the basically the For You page of Skool communities. So if I go to Mastery Hive, and then actually I need to go to find these communities here. If I go to, and I've got my Zoom thing right in front of my browser window, so I need to make sure I can move this around just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if I go to skool.com, it's automatically taking me to my group, but in here we have a Skool Games. This is Alex Hormozy's group, but you can actually search for within the group other things, but this is where I wanted to show you, discover communities. Okay, check out these communities. Look at what people are doing. This is a very popular community, 17.8 thousand members. This is a community that it's not of interest to me, but she's got a free community with 18,000 members in it. This one is the one I wanted to show you. Look at this crazy thing. This is a men's training group, 100,000 members. It's one of the top communities on Skool, free community. Imagine being able to send out 100,000 emails every 72 hours to different people. This is one of the top paid communities, 10,000 members, digital growth community. Look at what I want you to notice is almost a lack of variety in these communities, which makes you really easy to stand out if you've got something unique. There's 2 men's groups that I see on here. This is the one that absolutely blows me away. Look at this. This guy has 31.3 thousand members, and he teaches them to jump. Are you seriously kidding me right now? There's 31,000 people interested in learning how to jump? Are you serious right now? If there are 31,000 people that are interested in learning how to jump, think about how many people are interested in what you're interested in. in participating in board games and building board games, in your horror films, in your whatever you're building, in your learning how to become an electrician, whatever it might be. I don't see any of those. I don't see any of those topics. There's so many groups for AI. There's so many groups for digital growth and whatever the case may be. But your community has a huge chance of standing out because you might be the first one to create it. If I search for, Tasha, let's search for horror films. 0 results. Tasha, you could be the first one to do this. Let's look up board games. There's 4. And I don't think any of them have anything to do with board games. There's 4 communities. That could be you. Let's look up health and fitness. That will probably be bigger. There's 1,000 results for health and fitness. But if I narrow it down to a tighter niche for nurses, there's 9, which is why you need to know your niche. If I'm a nurse and I want health and fitness, I have 9 to pick from. And there's 2 members on this one. Guys, there's so much opportunity. I want you to understand the power of the first mover advantage of this. And the only reason, I just gotta give a tip of the hat to Alex Hormozy for this. The only reason that I got on board is because someone I know, like, and trust showed me the platform. And because someone I know, like, and trust showed me the platform, it lended legitimacy to the platform myself. And once I got in, holy crap, this thing started to just, this is where I spend so much time nurturing my audience. I interact more with my audience on this platform live than probably any other platform, including YouTube, where I have 42,000 subscribers. I talk to my audience more often per day here than I do on YouTube. I get comments every day on YouTube for 1 or 2 people, but I talk to 30 people every day on this platform. And it is the #1 most exciting digital stage, aside from podcasts, for me right now. And I want you guys to have this tool. All right, that's my training. I will be cutting portions of this up and putting it on YouTube so that you can rewatch and re-go through and how to and all of that fun stuff. I highly recommend this for you if you're looking for another way to get monthly recurring revenue. Again, creating a community is a paid, but there's a very fast ROI to this. So that is our training for tonight. I hope it was valuable for you guys. I look forward to seeing you online, in the airwaves, and in person. Sure do love you. And we'll see many of you tomorrow morning on the Daily Accountability Call. Take care.